Nania. Linda. Nania.
The first rule of engagement is what I've mentioned already. We should mute our mics when it's not our turn to speak. That is one. And aside the presenters, anyone at all who has a question should input it in the chat section. We'll pick it up so that and please address it accordingly, that this is to a particular presenter, and we'll pick it up. After every presenter, we'll give way for 2 questions. If there are no more, if the ones that has been placed in the chat are not much, we'll give way for 2 questions. Other than that, we'll give way for more than 2 questions. I wouldn't say much. I would give the room for our president to give us the opening remark for our program for the day. Mr. President, Francis Aweniyi, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Secretary, for the wonderful opening. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, based on where you're connecting from. My name is Francis Aweniyi, President, Ghana Chapter. I first of all want to warmly welcome our speakers, Community Development Manager from Afrenic, Bryce Abba, At-Large Advisory Committee member, Sarah, Chair of Youth and Women Committee, ISOL Ghana Chapter, Lily Edenam, and here to join the call, Africa founder and director of Africa Open Data and Internet Research Foundation, Wisdom Donko. He's here to join the call. Executive Council of Internet Society, Ghana Chapter, and distinguished members of this committee. I want to welcome you to this meeting. I'm pleased to welcome you to this webinar on sharing fellowship experience in the internet ecosystem with members and future collaboration and networking. This is part of our series of webinars that we've been doing to create awareness and educate members on sharing experience in the form of mentorship program and workshops. The purpose of this webinar in particular is to create awareness on internet governance and other related information on in the internet ecosystem. I wouldn't touch more on that because the chair of education will throw more light on that. So I'm seeing familiar faces in this webinar, and my greetings to you all. I can't mention names because I will leave some out. So I will urge you all, as we've joined this call, to share knowledge, to learn and be open. And I believe as we are participating in this webinar, we are at the right place and the right time. So as we together accelerate the exchange of ideas and scaling up of our good practices. And I'm especially pleased as we are about to learn much about fellowship. I believe we are all aware of the benefits or importance of getting a fellowship. I will share a few with you. Getting fellowship, you get to develop international skills so that you get to meet people from other countries with other sociocultural background. So you are able to network and share ideas. You get the opportunities to know people from other countries that you can reach out when you have problems. And you get to work with people and work with different fields that you've never even thought of. So I urge you to be open to ideas and share knowledge and jot down a very important point so that you can carry on the knowledge and share with other committees. So at this point, as we are getting close to our election in Ghana, I will urge all of us to be peace ambassadors during, before, and after the elections. Once you go there to cast your votes, I will urge you to come home peacefully and listen to the results at the end of counting. So I wish you all a fruitful and successful webinar. let's learn, share ideas so that we can impact our generation for a better internet ecosystem. Thank you very much. Have a fruitful deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thanks a lot. So at this juncture, I'll hand it over to our our committee head, Mr. Yusuf Amadou, give us the purpose of our meeting. Mr. Amadou, please over to you.
Thank you very much, Derek. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, depending on where you are coming from. And thank you very much for accepting our invitation to participate in this program. We are wasting much time, and today being rush hour, Fridays are not easy for everybody. And the time is not also more convenient for most people. I will just rush through what we are going to, or the reason why we are here. And I know most of you have read what we sent across. The main purpose is to create awareness of the fellowship programs or fellowship opportunities available in the internet ecosystem. So members will know, or members will be aware of how they can also participate and contribute to the development of internet. Also, want people or the members, the community, to be aware of how they can also contribute to the policy development process, which is the key issue in internet governance. Before you can benefit from any program, you have to also contribute your quota. And want the youth to be more involved in the internet development standards. So these are the key issues or the main reason why we are here. So without wasting my time, that's why we have also invited seasoned and people who know the system, the players who have contributed a lot in the internet ecosystem and who also get through this fellowship program to come and tell us what they are doing, what is involved, and what some of us can also or the members can also participate in the internet ecosystem and the fellowship programs available, and how you can also apply and what makes you possible to apply to get the fellowship. And after getting the fellowship, what can you do? What is next? So this is the reason why we are here. So, Mr. Moderator, I'll end here. Thank you very much. And also thank to the presenters for accepting our invitation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amadou. In our local parlance, most particularly in the Akan language, it says Sankofa entry, meaning that when you are wrong and you go back correcting yourself, that isn't bad. I didn't introduce myself properly. I'm Derek Ikakuado, Secretary of ISOC Ghana. Sorry for not introducing myself. So we are getting ready for our first presenter. Our first presenter should have been Mr. Wisdom. Mr. Wisdom, yes. But then I think he's not ready with Wisdom Donko. He's not ready with us now. So we're taking next presenter who is ably ready to take us through. That is Sarah Kidan. I hope I got the name right. Sarah Kidan is a technologist and a researcher working at the intersection of technology and society. And as a Marie Curie Research Fellow on Open Design and Trusted Things, that is Open DOTT, a joint program between Northumbria University and Mozilla. Her research focuses on the impact of technology and the internet for grassroots communities and neighborhoods. She's also a Ford Mozilla Open Web Fellow. I would not say much. I'll leave the floor for our next presenter, Madam Sarah Kidan, take over. Thank you, Madam Sarah, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for introducing me. I had planned to introduce myself, but I think you've done that well. So I'll just go, just go straight to the point and tell you about what I do within ICANN and how I got into the internet space. So outside of my normal job, which is I'm doing a project between sorry about that. Okay, so I'm on a joint program between Northumbria University and Mozilla, trying to explore what Internet of Things means for communities. I've been doing this for almost 1.5 years now, but yeah, it's still in development phase. So if there's anyone who wants to partner with me in that point of view to do some projects within Africa and all that, I'm happy to talk about that after. So within the ICANN community, ICANN, I think, I don't know if you got a lot of information about what ICANN is, but ICANN is the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. And basically what happens within the internet community is within the ICANN community is developing policy related to domain names, which is like facebook.com, isoc.gh and things like that, and IP addresses. So I am in the at-large advisory committee, which represents the interests of internet end users to ICANN. And I was recently elected as the ELAC member for the African region, so African Regional at-large organization. And previously, before that, I was an AFRALO secretariat between 2016 and 2020. I think let me just tell you how I got to where I am in the internet space so that you can also, maybe you have a similar story or maybe there's something for you to learn from that. I got to learn about internet governance and the whole internet space from Diplo Foundation. I don't know if many of you have heard about it. I'll share some links about this. So they have many internet governance courses, and I started with the ICT policy and strategic planning. At the time, I was working at a university in Uganda, and we were, coming up with a new policy. So someone told me about this course, I applied to it, and as they say, the rest is history, but really it's not, the rest is not really history. So I did that, and during the course, we were encouraged to start participating locally, like in the country. So that's something that I will actually recommend if you want to get into these spaces. It's normally it's easier to participate locally, to contribute locally, but also you can see the impact of the work that you do locally. So if you're thinking about applying for an ICANN fellowship or any other fellowship, if you have local presence already, you're contributing locally, it's not that it's easier, but it makes it easier for the selection committee to see that there's something that you're doing. So I did a few courses with the Diplo Foundation, and I learned about the Internet Governance Forum. I learned about how I could contribute. In my case, it was through the Internet Society Uganda chapter. So I started contributing in organizing the Uganda Internet Governance Forum and doing other activities like child online protection, and generally all the activities that the chapter was doing, I was like fully involved in them. And yeah, then I got into the ICANN space. I've attended Afrinic. I consider myself active in Afrinic, but mostly I'm more active in ICANN. And I got to the ICANN community through the fellowship program that anyone can apply for. And then I took a break and then came back. I met Yusuf, I've met Wisdom, and many people in the Ghana community through the ICANN fellowship. So it's not the only way for you to come into the ICANN community, but it's a good way for you to come because now it's really well structured. They'll take you through different communities. They'll tell you, like, it's easier if you come through the fellowship program, you are assigned a mentor, a role that I have done in the past, and then you can work with the mentor to basically, they'll help you understand how to get around. And then after that, you can join a community of interest. So I highly recommend the fellowship program and the Next Gen programs. The Next Gen program is only for students, and you should be between the ages of 18 to 30, while the fellowship program is open to everyone. I'll also share any links for this. So let me just try to summarize and conclude by saying that there are various ways to get involved. You can do it through the fellowship program, through the Next Gen programs. But if you've not got the fellowship program, you can still start to contribute in other ways. You can join the African Regional at-large organization and start to attend monthly calls. If they call for expressions of interest to lead a working group and you have the expertise, I normally tell people, if you have the expertise, don't fear. I've seen from myself and other people that sometimes you just feel like, I'm not an expert, I can't do this, but I've learned from that community that you don't have to be an expert. If you have something to contribute, you come and contribute. So I think it's easier if I take questions or answers, but that's briefly about how I'm involved in the ICANN community. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, Madam Sarah. So Madam Sarah has tried as much as she can to explain to us what benefits we could have from fellowships and how she got herself involved, how you can get yourself involved into international fellowships by starting local participations. The floor is now open for questions. Since I don't have any questions at the chat section, anyone who has any question can indicate that and then given the chance to ask questions. You have about 5 minutes to do that. It's not a good practice to call names, but we have Sheriff, we have Benjamin, we have Felicia, we have Webway, we have Juan, Joshua, Theoros, Arnold, myself, Samuel, Shadrach, Vanessa. Any question? I've left out our presenters, but Lily and Bryce are also available to ask questions.
Or maybe we can question at the end.
Yeah, hello. Please, can I be heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, good afternoon, from wherever you are connected to this meeting. Sir, I would like to know with ICANN, with a fellowship program, what's the best application that one can put in to be selected as an ICANN fellow? Because with that one, you normally have to be as a professional to be selected, not like the next gen, which is normally concerned with students. So if you can give us some tips regarding the ICANN fellowship. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So I think the first thing I should start with is to tell you that it's very competitive. When I got into the fellowship program, I don't think it was as competitive as it is right now. But right now you'll find sometimes 500 applications and they want to select maybe 50 people or 35 people. So it's actually very competitive. So you have to put in a very good application. But the other thing I usually tell people is if you show evidence that there's something that you're doing. Like I've seen people who are very active in the African community. They are contributing to policy. They are commenting on policy. Like when someone submits a policy proposal, they're actually contributing and engaging. If you do things like that, or sometimes locally within the country, you help to organize events. I've seen people who, even within the Ghana, I follow a lot of the ISO Ghana activities. So you see many people, they help to contribute, they organize events like this, a webinar, you're doing outreach in schools. It makes it very easy because someone can see that when they select you as a fellow, they know that at least it's not for nothing. They know that when they select you as a fellow, you go back and actually contribute and continue to talk to other people. So that's one thing I will usually say. But the other thing is you can join these communities, join the Afrinic mailing list, join the ICANN community at large advisory committee or whatever constituency you're involved in. You don't have to wait to first become a fellow for you to start participating. I feel that it increases your chances when you actually start to contribute before you are selected as a fellow. So that's what I would say. Like, make sure you write a good application. I've participated in selection sometimes, and they will ask you, please tell us how you'll use the knowledge that you've gained, when you go back home after the fellowship. And someone will just say, I will do outreach. And basically, like, you write one sentence, and yet there's someone who is showing us evidence of how they will do it step by step. They'll say, I'm already in a university. I already have this group of youth we are working with. So like, just try to show evidence and write a good application, because a lot of these people don't know you. Like for me, if I saw a name, I know what they do. But remember, it's a committee. There are many people selecting, and they will score you based on how you write your application. So I think, yeah, that's what I would say about that question. I hope I've answered it. Thank you. And just to conclude, if you feel sometimes some people are not comfortable to ask questions, you feel like the questions are stupid, like there's no stupid question, just feel free to ask. Or if it's difficult for you, you can always reach out to me on Twitter, on email, or any other platform. Thank you.
Derek, you're muted. Please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Thank you very much, Francis, for the notice. There's a thumbs up from Juan, giving Sarah a thumbs up, that she's been a good mentor. Sarah, that's a good thumbs up for you. Sarah has left a link to the Next Gen Fellowship. I believe those who are between the ages of 18 and 30 can follow and then have some good information over there. I believe Sarah will leave her contacts behind so that those who are not comfortable, ask questions now, can do that privately or one-on-one. Thank you very much. Any more questions, please?
Yes.
I have one more.
Hello.
Okay, so Yusuf, over to you.
Yeah. I want to ask, if I've not been in the fellowship program before, can I still join some of the ICANN stakeholder groups?
Yeah, thank you for the question. You don't have to have been a fellow for you to join. There are people who come to the ICANN community through other forms. I know, like when we were applying for ISOC Uganda to become an at-large structure within the Afralo ecosystem, some of the people we applied with had never been to an ICANN meeting. They had never even been fellows. I had been, but the other people we applied with had not been. So they came in and started to contribute. And some of them eventually became fellows. Others didn't become fellows, but they became leaders. So it's not the only way for you to contribute to this community. You can just join the mailing list and start participating. It's open for everyone.
So how will I know that I belong to this community in the ICANN ecosystem?
So if you go to the ICANN website, icann.org, you'll see different constituencies, and there's a brief description for each of these communities. Like for me, I can speak about the at-large advisory committee. If you are interested in end user issues as regards the DNS, the domain name system, that's the community for you. And I think that's the community for everyone because all of us are end users basically. But if you're interested in issues of government, I think for the GAC, you have to be nominated by your government advisory committee. If you're interested in the business side of things, if you're interested in intellectual property, like there's a community for everyone. So it's basically what you do as your day job or what you're interested in, and then how you can contribute. I call myself a technologist, but I'm in the at-large advisory committee. I could have gone to security and stability or any other of the communities, but you just see the description and see which is a close match to what you're interested in.
So do you mean that when I go to the ICANN website and search for the stakeholder groups, I can see what they do and join the one I want to join?
Yes.
Is it easy to join a group?
Yes, for many of the groups, for some of them, you don't even have to submit anything. You just write and say, I would like to join the mailing list. But there are others like the security and stability or the root server. You have to fill in a form to show how actually your skills or your interests match with the group. So for some of them, you have to submit some kind of form. And I don't think they vet or I think it's just for them to know who is coming into the group. While for others, like if you're already a member of ISOC Ghana, for example, the only thing you have to do is write to at-large staff and tell them that I'm already a member of ISOC Ghana and I would like to join the mailing list, and they'll just add you to the mailing list. So it depends on the constituency and it depends on how they do different things.
Okay. My last question. Now, after I have joined the group and contributed, what is next for me to benefit from contributing to the group?
So I like to use this analogy about the internet being something that belongs to everyone, but it also belongs to no one. that's, I think, if you look at it from that point of view, that you want to make the domain name system better, or you want to have better internet policy. Sorry, there's an echo from somewhere. Yeah, so that's how you should look at it, not from the point of view, because I've had some people saying, I want to apply for this thing, do you make any money out of it, and things like that. Don't look at it from that point of view of making money. There's actually no money you're making, because it's all volunteer basis. But look at it from the point of view of, I'm contributing to policy, I'm making the internet better, I'm adding the African voice, actually, because I think Wisdom or other people who have been there, Bryce, Francis, Lily, will tell you that the African voice is really, really missing in these spaces. And we have to make our voice heard, because sometimes, like, people won't know our perspective. It's only me who can talk about my specific Kampala or Uganda experience. So you look at it from that point of view of, I want to make the internet better and give my perspective as an African.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Any more questions to Sarah? Maybe I'll allow a last question if there is. Okay, so since there are no more questions, we're getting ready for our next presenter. I'll do a brief intro and then he would introduce himself properly. Our next presenter is Bryce Abba, a Community Development Manager for Afrinic and Afrinic Fellowship Program Manager. He has a very long portfolio, and I'll allow Bryce to do the introduction for himself and then for the whole community to know who he is. Meanwhile, I'm posting a brief on him as well. So, Bryce Abba, thank you. The floor is yours.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning. I don't know, maybe good evening, good morning from where we are connected from. Well, I'm Bryce Abba, Community Development Manager at Afrinic, and I've been active in the community for like over 10, close to 15 years now. And well, I have been technical trainer at Afrinic, and I work on IPv6 deployment in many countries in Africa, and also to help government to draft some deployment plan for the country in many countries also in Africa. And I'm also trainer on the West Africa IGF. I'm also trainer on Africa IGF, and yeah, yes, let's say I'm kind of active in the community, and also I've been technical trainer and technical director at Internet Society in Cote d'Ivoire. This is where I started, and I'm still there close to them, trying to push this Internet Society. Well, I don't have a formal presentation, but I will just tell you how I managed to get where I'm here today. And it's basically homework. You know, when I'm starting as an engineer in computer science, I used to work at the Network Information Center of Cote d'Ivoire. And there I got to be in charge of some public servers, and I used to work with ICANN on DNS, so I know people there deploying DNS. I used to work with Olaf Kolkman in 2007 on deploying DNSSEC. So, and after that, I was very active in the open source community of my country. I remember that I've organized with my own money, with some of my friends, a workshop on IPv6 here in Cote d'Ivoire. And this is where Afrinic realized that there is this guy somewhere in West Africa that is doing some good job in IPv6, and we've tried to work together as partial, you know, I was helping them partially to the workshop. I also have a good experience in AFNOG. I used to be a trainer there for FriendTrack. That was in 2008, 2009. So Yes, so what is the most important is, as I just said, and as Sarah just said, is the homework. You have to do your homework. You have to do something locally to get known. You know, if for me, the fellowship is not something that we should start with. The fellowship is like a reward of the work that you have been done so far. So you can't say that, okay, I'll get the fellowship and then I will try to work. It won't work like this. You have to do your homework. You need to get known. You need to, I mean, if you are coming from Ghana, when I call my friend from Mercedes Society there, they should know you. If you say that you're active in IGF Ghana, they should know you. You know, you need to be active. And as Sarah just said, it's not about money. It's just about how you want to get what you want to give to the community. It's about what you want to give to the community. I was in the also in DSTP working group and at Internet Engineering Task Force as well. VSIS operation where we are working, we are discussing IPv6 at Internet Engineering Task Force. And those activities were before I was even African staff, because I joined African in 2012. And as I just explained, I started my work in the community since 2005, 2006. So the main goal was not to, get sponsoring or be African staff or, traveling, that. The first thing is the knowledge sharing. I want to give something to my community. I want to share what I know. And I know that I can share something to the community. And as Sarah said, it's not like you have to be technical absolutely before to join the community. We have room for everybody, even though you are not technician and you are like lawyer and so on. We need you guys. We need developers. Today we have many initiatives that that we are organizing, closing with layers. And so you see, we need lawyers to help us to push those initiatives. So it's very important for you to start your homework. And when you're known in your country, when you have records, now you can apply for the fellowship, for ISO fellowship, ICANN fellowship, African fellowship, and all. And you're going to have a lot of chance to get selected. And in African, for instance, I'm going now to talk about the different fellowship program that we have. We have the sponsorship program that I'm also managing, where we are giving some fund for organizations like, ISOC, IGF, local, country-wise, to help them to organize some events. So this is something that you can also benefit. That you need to show that you are a good organization. You have to show us track. You have to show us records for us to give you this sponsoring. We also have the fellowship program, and Yusuf have been one of our fellow. Shankra have been one of our fellow, and we also have people from Ghana that have been selected to be African fellowship for the African fellowship program, but it's now very complicated because, for instance, in the last fellowship program that was not able to happen because of COVID, we had over 2,000 applications for 15 seats. So it's very, very, very competitive. So if you fill the form for the sake of filling, you are sure that you won't even, be considered. So you have to have a very good application. You have to be serious when they fill the form, and then you can get selected. And also we community. The FIRE program is. Can you hear me? Okay. We also have FIRE program, and the FIRE program is that okay. The FIRE program is another initiative that we have, and this initiative is have been set up to help the local community that have projects, but that those community don't have money to push the project to the end. So the FIRE program is there to help them to take the project to the end. And it's not only about money. We are giving you also training to help you to take your project to the end, how to manage a project, how to manage your fund, etc., etc. So it's something very good for the African community. So we also have this FIRE program. We also have the training program. The trainees program is when we have a project that we want to run, and we have, for instance, an application that we want to develop. If you are an engineer or a student and you want to, do this project with Afrinic, we are going to give you some financial support to take your project to the end with us. And at the end, the project will be used by the community. So we have many things like that we have for the community. But the first thing that you must do is your homework. You have to get known. You have to be known in a country. You have to do the work. And remember that, as I just explained, I've organized an IPv6 workshop with tea breaks, with lunch and everything, with my own money, with me and some of my friends here in Cote d'Ivoire. So it's very important to show to the community that I want to do things. And if I have some financial support, fine. But if I don't, I can do it with, what I have. So this is basically what I wanted to say. So now I'm here for the question now. Thank you. The floor is yours, Francis.
Thank you very much, Bryce. Thanks a lot. We've heard from Bryce and we've heard from Sarah, and they were all echoing one thing, which is we having local participation. And for Bryce, he says, do your homework, meaning do something, get involved in whatever you are doing locally in your home country, your community. So that is well heard. The floor is open for questions. There are no questions in the chat section now. So please, if you have any question, please come on board. Question for Bryce or to Bryce. Hi, Joan, do you have any question for us? Hi, Joan. Okay. So
their hands raised up.
Okay, so Shadrach, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So please, Bryce, you mentioned about the FIRE project, and recently the Ghana Youth IGF community, we saw on the Afrinic website that there are some financial support to support projects on internet governance, IPv6, and other capacity building projects. So like, we want to know if the Ghana Youth IGF and the ISO can apply for funds to be supported in some internet governance and some IPv6 and other capacity building areas. Thank you.
Okay. Well, okay, you can get two types of support. It can be technical support, or let's say resource support. Resource support is where Afrinic will bring a trainer. Afrinic will take care of their accommodation, a ticket, and everything, and you guys would just take care of the venue. It's just you can do it, organize it in a university where you can manage to get it for free. And well, so we have the resource support that we do, and also the fund. And for the fund, we have the registration form that is on our Afrinic engagement page. And you have to fill the form. We have many questions that you have to respond to. And at the end, we are going to do the screening. We are going to evaluate your application and see whether you can get the fund or not. And we also have an initiative that is organized with our research and innovation department. And this initiative is is to also give funds for students that are about to end their study. Let's say if you have data and you are doing your end of year or your end of for training, documents and things like that. If you're an engineer and you want to do your end of year, study and project, and so I think that we also have project for that. We also have fund for that. And for organizations like Internet Society, and we don't have grants the way that Internet Society does it. We don't have grants like this. But if you have a project that can help our community, if you have a project that can help African community, you can be elected, you can be selected, and can have a fund from the Research and Innovation Department, so that you will work together to create an application or a service that will be used by the community. So I hope this clarifies your question.
Yes, thank you very much for the explanation.
Okay. Thanks, Bryce and Shadrach. Any more questions, please? Any more questions?
Yeah, I can see confidence and stuff, so I don't know whether you want to talk.
Come again, Shadrach.
I see confidence and up, so maybe you want to talk.
Okay, confidence.
Hi, can you hear me? Good afternoon. Sorry, it's evening here. Okay, so Bryce mentioned and Sarah, they all mentioned homework, but I think homework is quite vague here now. So if they can have an elaboration on homework and then tell us specific homeworks that can be done, I think that can be fine. You only mentioned active participation in local groups and other things. I mean, what specific things can they mention as part of the homework?
Okay, I will. Okay, confidence. So one of the homework that you can start doing is, for instance, what we are doing now. Internet Society Ghana is organizing an event. You have to be close to them and be active in organizing this event. You have to, for instance, if it was a face-to-face event where people have to come to the venue, you have to be at least a member of Internet Society in Ghana. You have to be a member of IGF Ghana. You have to be a member of African mailing list, because nothing prevents you to connect and register to our mailing list. You can just go there, register, and be active. You know, when we say active, people don't know your face, but they do know your name. This is what is very important. Over our mailing list, for instance, we have very hot discussion going on now, according to IPv4 transfer from Africa to the other region. We have very hot discussion on appeal committee, on chairs activities, co-chairs activity on the policy development working group. So these are places where you have to be. This is the place where you must be present. This is the place where you have to give your point of view. It's not like +1, +2, or this finger thing. No. You have to tell this community why you are with the proposal, why you are against this proposal. You have to tell what you think about this. This is what we are saying. We are calling being active. And when you do that on African mailing lists, because those mailing lists are open, although our mailing lists are open to the world, it's not close to Africa, people will know about you. People will see, this guy has the good input when we're discussing resources, when we're discussing this, etc., etc. This guy is very present, is active in Ghana. When we have IGF, we can see that is in the helping organizer, is doing, this is what we are calling homework. You have to be, when I call, for instance, Yusuf, and I say, Yusuf, do you know Confidence? Yusuf should say, yes, I know Confidence. This guy was with us on the organizing the past 2 events, etc., etc. This is what we are calling your homework, and it's not only that, and be also present not only in African mailing list, and also ICON, like IETF, and many other organizations that are close to, are working in the internet. This is where you have to do your homework. Yeah, I hope it's more clear now.
Okay, thank you, Bryce. So, Sarah, would you want to add something to that?
Let me say something before Sarah talks. Hello. Hello.
Yusuf, would you want Sarah to add up to it so that you can come on? Since the question was directed to the two of them.
Okay.
Thank you.
So follow up to what the guy.
Okay, so just to say that in addition to what Bryce has said, I think you've heard people saying that if you want to hide something from an African, put it in a book. We don't like to read. So it takes a lot of work when someone sends a policy proposal, you have to actually read it and know what they're talking about, instead of, like, you should not just go and say +1 before reading the policy proposal. So it takes a lot of background reading. Sometimes they are discussing policy, but it's something they've been discussing for the past 4 years. So it means you have to go back to some mailing list discussions and see what they were talking about. You have to sometimes even listen to a recording for a particular call to be able to understand. I think that's what we mean, that you have to do homework, just in addition to what Bryce has said. Thank you.
Can I talk now?
Yeah, Yusuf, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I want to give an example. I remember 2014, I applied for a fellowship program to attend European Semester to Internal Governance. When I did my application, I didn't hear from them. They called Erica Komia, who was the then ISOC president, to find out whether I'm active in the Ghana internet activities. And based on that, I had opportunity. So that's why they are saying you have to get involved, participate in and contribute to the development of internet in your community. And that will make our people profile globally.
Thank you, Yusuf. I hope you are answered, Shadrach. Any more questions? Yeah, Lavish. Any questions or just a thumbs up?
Yeah, just a thumbs up, just a thumbs up.
Oh, okay. So we don't have further questions, then we'll be getting ready for our next presenter. Our next presenter is Lily Edinam Botiu. She happens to be the Women and Youth Chair for ISOC Ghana, and is an aspiring global ambassador and world changer. I'll leave the rest for her to best introduction of herself. So, Madam Lily, over to you. Thank you.
Right. Hi, everyone, and thankful to have the opportunity to share with you, and especially to the young people here who are also aspiring to contribute to impact in the country, the continent, and the world at large. So it's interesting. I think to a large extent, everything that is supposed to be spoken about has been touched on. So we realized some key things in the presentations. Everybody mentioned preparation, everybody mentioned involvement, everybody mentioned engagement. So from my application and my experience as a PATH fellow, what I've gathered basically is that no fellowship, no engagement, no travel will come to you by magic. It takes work. Work before, during, and afterwards. So we've heard the earlier speakers talk about preparation to before you answer your questions or apply, or preparations by engaging in your community before you are selected. So it goes this way for me. If you engage in your community, you get a chance to be elevated, or your work is amplified on the global stage. In the global stage, if you don't put in work to contribute to what discussions are being held or what is happening, you also lose your value, and nobody gets a chance to tap into the knowledge that you have. The essence of you being in a community like this one is because opportunities for fellowship, opportunities for learning are circulated. We know that the internet has a lot of information, and so sometimes it may be difficult finding things around that will be of help to you. But in communities like this, you have people who have been past fellows, you have people who chance on opportunities and share with you, you will have people who will be willing to mentor you. And that's why when we talk about communities in the tech and IG space, it's very important, because you on your own, you may struggle to enter. So even that, you may look at how people enter into the space and how they're able to stay. So people said you can contribute in your local space and people know you and all. But first off, for the different personas, so somebody who's on campus, my first encounter with Internet Society was in first year in KNUST. And it's interesting because I didn't know what the Internet Society was about. And I just remembered in my head that my father told me that if they mention any meeting in the department, I should go. I should attend the meeting. So in my head, I was looking for opportunities to join communities, and that was my very first encounter with the Internet Society. So for me, who was on campus, there was a path for me to enter, and if I didn't put in effort of knowing, I would have probably just found the thing so boring and not maybe continue. Then for you who is a worker now, if you don't have friends in the space who probably talk about policies around the internet, who probably advocate for things around the internet, you may not know. So for different people, there are different entry points into the space. But your relevance and how you would, but your continuous stay and performance in the space is benched or hinged on how you are able to contribute to make it better. So first off, I joined, for some reason, entered one of the meetings for the Internet Society on Kenya State campus sometime in 2015. And the week after, they said there was going to be the launch of the Kenya State caucus. And I thought it was interesting. Since I've been asked to attend programs, I'll join. So I joined in the launch of the Kenya State caucus on campus. And it turned out that all the leaders who were the founders or the originators of the campus edition were all leaving school, and these were our teaching assistants. Now, the only people who were vibrant in the space was me, Lily, and Fred Azori, who's now our technical head in the Internet Society Ghana chapter. And this was in 2015. So as young people, we thought we could probably do something. I think our very first event we did was to have somebody come to teach us how to crack weak passwords on campus with a software called John the Ripper. And we're trying to let people know that if your software is weak, we're able to crack it, you're exposed. So that's what we're trying to do with that first thing. And after school, many things happen. And like you said, if you don't prepare before applying for anything, right? I mentioned early on, it's not magic. I remember after school, I saw on the mailing list where we were supposed to apply for an Internet Society Youth at IGF fellowship. And I think I literally just sat down and typed it in. Before coming to this meeting, I was going through some of the things I had done as a youth fellow, and I realized that I actually became a youth fellow at the second try, not the first. Everybody knows me to be outspoken, to be able to put my voice on paper, but I realized the first one, I actually failed some parts, and there was optional parts I didn't even fail, and I was using one sentence. I found this today, not so long ago, and it shows you that if you don't put in some effort in understanding, first, there are 3 parts to it. Understand what you're being asked for. Secondly, what do you aim or seek to achieve from the program you're applying for? Thirdly, how do you seek to impact beyond the program? That's how can we be able to, they can be able to measure your growth if they give you a chance. So thankfully, the second one, I think the first one, I wasn't even bothered about getting or anything. I was just giving it a shot. Now the second one, I remember before I had joined for building community network with Musa San Louis. I don't know if you know him, or Hon Liu. He's called Hon Liu or so. Musa was my trainer for building community networks. And I remember he used to call me what I learned, and he used to call me what I learned in class, because I had just left university. And if he talks about anything networking or subnetting, I'll tell him that what I learned in class was this. So everybody on the call used to laugh at this girl who had just come from school, and everything she was saying was what I've learned in class was this. So it was interesting. And I entered that building community network project. And just after that, Musa shared the link to join the fellowship. And I thought to myself, maybe I should, what is this again? I could just give it a try. So I remember when filling that form, I added that I had learned or was part of the building community network project. And when the results came out, I really was excited that I had it, because well, first time I thought they didn't tell me, they didn't give me any good news, but this one, it means that something had changed. And I traced back and I thought probably they saw the experience, they saw the zeal to learn, they saw preparedness, they saw how I was able to link what I was doing and what I sought to do, because I'd had some exposure in the space. And when you enter the program, I mean, when you enter the fellowship for Internet Society, there's a preparatory, or they understand people come from different backgrounds, and that's when we talk about different stakeholder groups. So they're trying to get everybody on a leveled ground before you launch into the work you're supposed to do in the space. So they take you through models, you're able to learn, they teach you what the internet governance is, basis of the internet, you learn about internet governance baskets, different issues, and they encourage you to actually engage in deliberations on the platform so that you can be able to see how people think from around the world. And it was interesting because some people could actually drop a comment about a very simple question. I'm wondering, where did the person get all this information about policies? How are they so updated? And it just dawned on me that there's so much for us to do as young people, and probably we're not doing so because our interest has not been ignited. These people were at the forefront of this discussion because they had been introduced in a way. So at that point, we just thought that how about we make learning things like this easy? So part of my group, Shadrach was a part of it, we decided to do something called the Global Repository of Internet Studies. And what we were seeking to do was to break down the technicality of everything we're learning in the internet governance space and use infographics and use paper and use photos to share the message we're learning. So you see, even in the program, we had identified where we thought there was a hurdle for us, and we're trying to solve it. And then, yes, Grace still runs, a colleague runs it, it's called Samsila. I'll just type the link after this program, after the submission. So you see that even in the program, we're trying to grow. Then beyond it, a couple of us went to Paris, we're interested, we took all the photos. But beyond that, you saw many people fell off. And that's where I don't blame them. I think there's an issue of continuity beyond the program. So for all who are organizers like Bryce, like Sarah, who leads in one of the committees, maybe there should be more input for continuity. How are you able to guide beyond it? Is there support for people who are past fellows so that they can probably pass the message on? So you have something like a trainer of trainees. And the interesting part is that by dint of the fact that you've been a fellow before does not mean that you'll be called on always. These organizations allow people to enter, like the entry, they give priority to entry level people. So you who are there in your own space, run your activities. For newer people who have to come into the space, they allow them to also come in and have a taste of it. I can say for a fact that I've tried Afrinic also, I've tried ICANN, I was on a waiting list, and a couple others. So you literally have to learn around and make sure that what you're saying, okay, thankfully also, I've been able to, I was part of people who judged for picking ambassadors for Internet Society. And I saw some of the submissions for answers that we asked. And I thought, wow, this person really came prepared. I saw others and I just thought to myself, probably this person was sleepy when answering the question. I saw others and I'm like, no, you are not ready. So it's very different. Those who put in their all, know what the organization is, know what you want in there, and beyond it, what do you want to do with this? Some of us entered the space, even though we wanted to learn, but we've ended up finding a career path for ourselves. Like me, I'm so interested in policy now, and I'm wondering, how did I get here? It's because of how we've gone through the system. Now, in order for you to know, I remember at a point on the Internet Society page, it felt as though there was a particular set of people who were just exposed to the scholarships and, the fellowship and didn't want to share. But it's not like that. You are in a community like this because people will share opportunities like this one. And don't be lazy. Don't say you don't like writing. Write it. Give it a shot. Number two, everybody knows Google. Everybody has a Gmail account for some reason. You can create a Google alert for a keyword like internet. So anytime there's anything on the internet, it can give you a prompt. So that's how you can keep updated. Fix your eye on opportunities on social media, fix an eye on Google, but you may miss it. But there's a feature on Google called Google Alert, where you can actually set an alert for particular things you're interested in. So you have the community, because you have the community where there's knowledge sharing, you have Google Alerts, which you can add, and these are how you find out what is happening in the space. If you've heard of somebody who has actually been a past fellow, also reach out. Hi, can you tell me how you got in? Today, I got on a call with somebody who was trying to help me fix a cover letter. And I was like, wow. And this is just a colleague, but she's done a couple of them and she has experience. So that's how we probe. You probe to know. Nobody drops it at your doorstep. And that's why you shouldn't get angry when people who seek out the information and write to it are getting selected. What did you do to make it happen for you? Find which community it is that your interest lies in. Also find how you can set alerts for this, follow pages that are relevant, talk to people who have been path fellows, and you know that what they say about, like, I think it's an African adage. So people who have gone ahead of you have experience and can be able to tell things even from afar off if it will work or not. So from my experience, that is it in a nutshell, and happy to answer any more questions.
Thank you very much, Lily. That was very, very, very exciting. Thanks also, Bryce and Sarah. The floor is open to questions. Does Lavish wants to ask a question? Lavish, a question?
No, I'm actually thrilled by her experience, basically, yeah.
Okay, okay. That was a clap. Kudos. So any question to Lily?
Okay, so I'll come here. Mine is not really a question, but I'm also coming to add on to what Lily
Okay, so
has said.
Shadrach, Shadrach, just a moment before you add up to that, we would want to give a section where others would also add their experience. You'll be the first on the list. Let's get questions to submission, and then there is now you can come on now. Any question, please? Any question? Okay. So any question to our previous presenters as well, Sarah and to Bryce? Probably there was a question that escaped you, just remembered. Want to pose that back to them? Lavish, want to say something?
Yes, I want to ask a question now.
Okay, so Lavish before Ali. Lavish, go ahead.
Okay, so to Lily, I want to know one of the things she did entering the space as a new person. One major thing she did that she thinks triggered her movement and then her desire to continue in the space. Maybe one simple activity or one thing she did that triggered that. I don't know if my question is clear.
Yeah, clear. Thank you so much. So one of the things that triggered me wanting to be a part or stay in the community is our need to give back. So I realized, I mentioned early on in my submission that when we entered the space, we thought people were really super powered because how do we answer the questions or on the forum we were on? These were people who knew what they were about. And to some extent, it was so technical for us because you had to take some time to learn and learn some more. So we began first with the project that I'm going to drop in the chat now and what Marisha also asked for, the Global Repository for Internet Studies. And currently, a friend is the one who runs it fully. But what we did was, how do we go about making it fun? Maybe how do we give back? Because we've seen how we've entered, we've seen the hurdles, we've seen how there's the gap. You could see people in the Western world were really up to date. They knew things we didn't know. Sometimes they ask if Ghana has policies on cybersecurity. Well, now we have something with cybersecurity. At the time, we'd be like, just hold on, let me check. But it just showed us that we had to make the information available to some extent and let people know it. So that was what triggered the zeal to want to continue to give back. So we began on this project, and then I left this project for a friend who is working on it now. Then together with Shadrach and a couple of us, we began the first edition of the Ghana Youth Internet Governance Forum. And we had the support of the main IGF that Francis is a part of. And so we continued from that part. So we came in, they acknowledged that we had some skills as path fellows. And I remember when we were there, when we were at Paris, we were sending tweets, we were sharing things that we're learning, sessions that we're in. And so the chapter members also saying that, oh, young people have gone out there, they're making the country shine. Probably we entrust something to their hand and let them share. So from there, we came back, and when it was time to organize a Ghana Youth IGF, they called upon us, and together we formed a group and we tried to give back based on the knowledge you have built. And now it's even got interesting because after the fellowship, you don't have to leave the links and the network that you've built. Everybody says your network is your net worth. Now, it's not only about money. The network there is no money. It's about the network, the full grooming, holistic grooming for the job market, for your next project, and all those. So when they saw that we came back and were doing things in the space, I remember we organized a Mozilla Sprint under this great project. The Internet Society even sent us stickers for people who were attending in Ghana. They brought it all the way from Switzerland. And it was interesting. So there was support, and they just wanted young people to put in the effort, and then they'll give you a little push. So from there, I've actually had interest in I like to talk policy, I love to research. So right now, the aspiration is to be a tech policy analyst, and it's why I keep active in the space. Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, Ali, you have a question for her?
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you all the presenters for their contribution. It's really great. I just want to ask any one of them what are the end goal and or the main benefits of this fellowship, and how this fellowship your mindset and your as to your original views. Anyone who can contribute.
Maybe I should go first.
I think Sarah wants to take that.
Okay, sure. Sarah, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I can go first. So I wouldn't call it end goal per se, because I don't think it's an end goal. I feel like it's always a shifting goalpost. So you achieve something and then there's more to achieve. But I can just give you things like experiences in my capacity in Uganda that have made me say, oh, wow, it works and I want to continue doing this. So I think you've heard about community networks before, and you know that in many countries, many of the community networks don't even have a license to operate as a provider in the communities. So in Uganda, I remember a time when some experts from out of the country just contacted us and asked if they wanted to write a position paper, but they thought it's better if they have people who are locally in the country. And then we submitted this proposal to the regulator and we said, we have community networks. And of course they had said that everyone knows that we have very low connectivity statistics. So we just wrote this proposal and we said, if you allowed community networks, I think this would be very good and all that. And we submitted. To be very honest, I didn't even think anything would come out of that. But last year they announced and just said, now we have a new license for community networks in the country. So it's not an end goal, but when you see that you're actually making changes in very small ways, and this is actually not a small way, this is a national thing. It's now a national, license. Any community can apply to do this. That's one example. Another example, which was not successful, was when Uganda was introducing the social media tax. As Internet Society Uganda chapter, we wrote a position paper and we submitted it and said, we don't think this tax should be introduced, and this is why we believe it should not be introduced. We actually had like statistics and we tried to explain why we think they should not introduce this tax. And to our surprise, someone actually responded to us and they started to engage us, and they were saying they were trying to make us understand their point of view, and we were also trying to make them understand our point of view. So for you to even be able to influence, government policy or, things that you would ordinarily not think about, like for me, I would say this is what you're calling the end goal, but it's just being able to make small and big. Thank you.
Welcome. Lily, any contribution to that?
Right. So like Sarah said, this is actually continuing. And the reason is that since the internet is fast evolving, the space is also very fast evolving. But we see that policies, laws, regulations are slower in being created than how fast the internet grows. So really there's no end to there's no exact end to this. So what these fellowships seek to do is to launch you onto a path where you can contribute in your capacity to shape the dream internet, to change things in the space that you probably think are adverse for a certain reason. And this means that you should have understood and researched and know what you're asking for. And for young people, the idea why we have this youth fellowship is because of the inclusion of young people. Everybody says that for our generation, we are the very first one who grew up not just using the internet, but contributing to building its core. We are those who have been born into, everybody calls us the technology babies. So imagine if we are those who understand and use the internet the more, and especially in our continent, Africa, where the population is actually used for, why is it then not so important, right? That we are able to be invited to tables where we as users can also contribute, we as creators can contribute, we as developers can contribute. So the idea of this fellowship is to build capacity, number one, have you join a group of professional network for young people, expose you to mentors, and probably launch you onto a career, basically.
Thank you, Lily. Bryce, any addition?
Yeah, yes, very, very short. Being the community should be in win-win situation, a kind of win-win situation. You are gaining from the community because you are getting exposed to people. You can build a network. It's not only friends that, you know, you go out and have dinner and, you know, drink. No, it can also be an opportunity for you to get a job. Why not? It can also be an opportunity to you to, if you are working on a project and you know that this guy is working on the same program that you are working on, it can also come and give you some help. If as professional you have problems, for instance, in the AFNOG network, we are techies that we share knowledge. I can have a problem in my network, and my friends there in Ghana or in South Africa had the same problem like 2 years in the past. You can discuss and you have the solution to your problem. So build your network is very important. And you also have a chance to share your knowledge, what you've learned in your country. For instance, I think I've been invited to the European, to the Europe Commission of Technique, something like that, to give the position of Africa in some of the topics that they want us to talk about. So this because we're exposed, we're in the community that they get to know us. So you see, and the fellowship is, as I said, is like a reward of your homework. You know, we all explained what is the homework. It's a reward of the homework, but it's the beginning of something more, something bigger. Because when you got a fellowship, you have to show people who give you this fellowship that it was not a mistake and that you deserve it. So it's a lot of work when you've been selected as fellow, and you have to work, because unfortunately when some of the people get selected for a fellowship program, you just come take picture, you know, go visit, and when they're back in the country, this is it. And this is not what we want for you. When you're in the community, you have to give to the community what you have learned. In the fellowship program, AfriLink is giving opportunity to individuals that are active in the country, but don't have enough money to come to our meeting, to come and, you know, see how internet is developed in Africa, see how people are discussing future of the internet in Africa. So this is like a reward, but it's also the beginning of something bigger. So you have to dream. If you stop dreaming, then I mean you are done. So yeah, you should always have something to reach. You have to set up for yourself goals that you want to achieve in your personal life and your professional life, and those goals have to be aligned with what you are doing in the community. So this is what I have to say. Be fun, look for a win-win situation when you are in the community.
Thank you very much, Bryce. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, so the floor will be open for 3 more people. We're going to give you 3 minutes each, starting with Shadrach. If you have any contribution, any experience to share, that will help the discussion. So Shadrach.
Okay, thank you, Derek, for the opportunity. So as Lily started with her experience, I will also share a bit of mine. I began my journey in the internet community, I think somewhere level 200, where Mr. Yusuf was my tutor then. So he introduced me and my other colleague to the internet community, Internet Society, ICANN, and other communities. But then I was very interested in the opportunity that he mentioned. So I was really engaged, attending meetings like the IETF and other ISOC local meetings. So I also tried learning more, like enrolling in other courses like the network monitoring, the network services, and the introduction to network operation, and also the building wireless community network, which Lady mentioned about. So all these courses give me some fair idea about what the internet community is. So I also tried applying for the youth at IGF, which lady is my colleague. So from there, I got to network with other fellows, learn a lot about them. And there was one last year, this ISOC Africa Fellowship, which was part of the Africa Internet Summit. So I applied for this. I was not expecting to be selected. I just got an email that I've been selected and they're going to pay everything for me to attend the hackathon. So I was like very surprised. I said, wow. So like just my little experience that I shared on the form got me selected. So I still continue to apply for more. So with the African Fellowship, I started from my friend in 29. I applied, I was not selected. I learned a lot about African, what they do, and also I've had a lot of experience. So I applied and I was there one day, I got selected and I told Lily, hey, Lily, see, I've been selected for this fellowship. To keep on trying. Even you apply for 3 times and you don't get selected, you should keep on trying because it's a come to a time you'll be familiar with the questions and you work towards it. I thank all the people who have been my mentors, Yusuf, Bryce, and other people. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Any more experiences to be added to our presenters?
Maybe Mauricia can share if she's not busy. She's a recent ambassador. She has so much insight.
Mauricia, do you want to do us the honors?
Thank you, Lily. And Lily's my mentor, and I've been following her to all her webinars of late because it's just so enriching. And I would like to add that it's important that we all maintain the willingness to learn. One thing that I have, okay, so actually I'm a mom of one. I just had a newborn baby, he's only 2 months old, but I still decided to apply for the ISOC Youth Ambassadors at IGF program. And just that willingness to humble yourself and say, I don't know everything, but I'm really interested in being part of this. I'm going to sacrifice like I did and balance life and still be part of the program as much as possible. The program and the mentors, as Lily said, will support you. If you show an interest and you have a willingness to learn, the community will come to you. They will not come to you in essence of like magic appearing. No, they answer to your call of interest. So if you put in the effort, if you put yourself out there and say, you know what, I want to learn, the community will help you and elevate you. One thing that is a massive, massive benefit from the community is that it will broaden your own insights. Perhaps you see your career from one angle, but the community will help you see it from 4 angles because you get to hear different opinions, different life experiences, and your mentors have gone through the programs before you, and what they share enriches you. So that is just my little 2 cents that I would like to add. Great evening to everyone. Thank you.
Most welcome, Mauricia. Thanks for sharing. We have one more slot for experience sharing.
Let me say something more about my experience.
Okay.
Yeah, I joined the first time I participated in ISOC workshop, which was 2012. I got to know more about internet ecosystem and the standards and the governance and so on and so forth. That is when I got to know about ICANN and other fellowship programs. So that time I applied for ICANN fellowship. I didn't know anything about it, but based on my contribution, little contribution to the system, I had an opportunity to participate in the first ICANN fellowship program in Argentina. Now, before that, I sponsored myself to participate in AFPIF in Morocco. In Argentina, there's one guy called Edwin, who is also ISOC Ghana chapter member. He introduced me to one lady who organizes European School, Summer School International Governance. So they asked me to apply for a fellowship program, which I did, and I got an opportunity to participate in that program too in Germany. That same year, I got my ICANN second fellowship program to London. And since then, I can tell that every year I travel not more than 2 or 3 times. This is only the benefit I'm getting from the community. And from that, I've also gained a lot of experience from the community. I have a lot of friends everywhere. One thing is that even when you are traveling outside, just call somebody. You can be picked at the airport, just like that. This is the benefit I've gotten from the. Then you can also learn a lot from the community. We have ICANN Learn that you can learn. There's an e-learning platform or e-learning system on the ICANN website that you can go and learn a lot about what is going on in the internet community. We have ISOC Learn too. So don't just sit down, learn, read a lot about what is going on, and you can also benefit from what we have been doing. And your life will never be the same. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yusuf, for contribution. We are all too soon coming to the end of our webinar for today. I would have to apologize for not having our fourth speaker, Wisdom Donko, disengage in an important assignment, equally important assignment, which has not allowed him to join us. But we are sure he's going to join us in other programs where his expertise will be needed. So I'll give a minute each to our speakers to round up and give their final words before Yusuf and then Francis ends it up for us. So which order should I start? Let me start from the last. So I'll start from Lily, and then I'll go to Bryce and then end with Sarah. So Lily, a minute each, the last words.
Right, so remember that no fellowship, no engagement, no reward to come to you if first off you don't put in the effort, you're not prepared, you don't do your homework, you're not actively engaged. It doesn't happen by magic. Number two, you get opportunity because you've been identified as somebody who can give back and can continue from the experience you've received. So please don't keep it to yourself, keep the message out there, amplify your voices, and don't stop learning. Don't stop learning. So that's it from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you and welcome, Lily. So next, Bryce, a minute, the last words.
Okay, what I would like to say is that check the chat, connect to this link, and register to Afrinic mailing list, announce mailing list, and RPT mailing list. This is where you start your homework. And we need fresh people in the community. We need fresh ideas. And don't stay so focused on the fellowship, because people tend to be disappointed when they are not selected for a given, don't be disappointed. Do your homework. One day it will come. It might not be a fellowship. It can be job opportunity. It can be something more bigger. It can be a project that will be supported by one of those organizations. So yeah, fellowship is just a part of it. But as soon as we know about you, you can get a lot from community. People that we are hiring at Afrinic have been very active in the community, and not all of them were Afrinic fellow, but it's something that you have to remember. Don't be disappointed if you're not selected. Do your homework. We need your idea in this community. So please keep on doing your homework. Yeah.
Thank you and welcome, Bryce. Sarah, a minute, your last words.
I think my last words would be that you should create your own experience, your personal experience, just yours alone. Make the internet better. Let's make technology better. Your rewards will come in various forms, but most importantly, just make your voice heard. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to do what I normally do when I hold events. I call something your take home. We have people who are there and they are so rich, they've had so much that they are keeping it to themselves and only to their chests. I'm going to call names and I give you 10 seconds. Tell me your take home. Your take home is whatever you're taking from the speakers. Just 10 seconds. So please, pardon me, I'll call your name and you come on board to tell me your take home. So Ni Amakweku, Amakweku, can you share your take home with us? 10 seconds. Is Amakweku with us? Amakweku. Okay, so Benjamin Yamwa. Benjamin Yamwa, are you with us? Benjamin Yamwa, you can unmute your mic. Okay, Adam, your take home, 10 seconds. Okay, since
I'm here.
Adam, so your take home, 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm just very glad to hear from the community and the people that I know that I've worked with. It's just like, oh, that is something that we need to repeat. I see the African network growing, and I see that we are taking the leadership as young men are coming in, and we need to do these kind of things more and more. Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you, Mauricia. I'm the ISO chair from Senegal. God bless you, and enjoy your weekend. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Adam. And then I'm going to give my take home. My take home is for me to do my homework. My homework is to contribute more to the community. I've not been doing much for ISOC. I think after today's meeting, I'm dedicating myself to more. So that is my take home. So 4 more to go. I want people who have not spoken. Theoros, your take home. Theoros, are you there? Okay, Theodora.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Theoros is with us. So I'll take 10 seconds. I think the network is not helping. So is I still on?
All right, my take home is to put in my best and to do my homework. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Benjamin, I realize you muted your mic. Let's take home, Benjamin.
Yeah, I've come to realize that I have to follow every activity very keenly and not mix any of them.
Okay. Thank you, Benjamin. Herman, the last one. Herman, your take home. Is Herman still with us? Okay, so Isaac, in place of Herman, Isaac.
Okay, yeah, my take home is actually to try to engage in every single activity that happens within the IGF space. Lately, there were some activities that were ongoing, but I couldn't take part in most of them. But from today's conversation, I really will have to work hard and then engage in most of them. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thanks a lot. Over to you, Yusuf. You have 2 minutes. Your final words, Yusuf. And then our President, Francis Amenin, will give us the closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I've done a very good job. I don't want to waste my time because the time is far-fetched. I can say, Sarah, Brice, Lily, thank you very much. Because when I sent the invitation, I wasn't sure whether you have time for us, but fortunately, and you were able to accept our invitation and have delivered to us. Now they have given an insight of what we are supposed to do to be part of the internet ecosystem, either getting opportunity as fellows or contribute our quota to the system. Thank you very much once again. I know anytime I call on you, you will accept our invitation. Sarah has been my friend since 2014, and we have been participating in programs together and working together and so on and so forth. So, Sarah, once again, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and the rest. And all those who have participated in this program, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're most welcome, Yusuf. So we're going to take our closing remarks from our President, Francis Amenin.
All right, thank you very much, Secretary, for that wonderful moderation. I would say this webinar has been very insightful and very educative. So probably I may also have to give you my take home. It's going to be a summary of what speakers gave us. So first of all, I would say we have to join the various mailing lists, which is the AFRINIC, AFNOC. There are several mailing lists, so we have to look out for them. A lot have been posted in the chats, so follow the chats and get the various mailing lists and join them. Get online and also see the various mailing lists, AFRALO, and there are a lot of working groups. You know, in this community, to be relevant, you need to volunteer. There are a lot of work to be done in this community, and it's all about you being availing yourself to volunteer. So get a working group and get active in it. And secondly, one keyword that was familiar with every speaker was starting from home, localizing yourself, doing your homework. Many a times, if you apply for every fellowship, they may call to ask of your background, whether you're active in your local community. So I'm going to urge every ISOT member here to be active, being in Ghana or wherever you belong to. Get involved in your local activities. Whenever there is an activity in your chapter, get involved, help the chapter to grow. Because if your chapter is not doing well, you can also do well. Impact your chapter with the knowledge that you've learned. And one thing I will add again is continuity and knowledge sharing. After you've benefited from the fellowship or you've attended an event, get back to your community and also impart the knowledge. It's called training the trainer. So after you've learned, go back, because I've noticed people go and come back and keep it to themselves. So knowledge is not transferred to whoever knowledge is supposed to go to. So I believe after today, we'll go back and we're going to share knowledge with whoever needs to hear. And also one thing I will add is we need to learn about what is happening around us, because I've ever been in a meeting, in a previous meeting in Addis, and there was a policy on data protection issue in Ghana. I'm a Ghanaian, but had no knowledge about it. Somebody from Nigeria even knew much about data protection policy than me myself. So I believe you need to learn much about what is happening around you. You need to know whatever is happening, being in policy, why, being in technical, why, being the various activities happening around you. You need to know. That is why you have to get involved, because if you're not involved, you're not on the mailing list, you won't get to know what is happening around you. So get involved, be on the mailing list, be active in your community so that you get to know what is happening around you, so that when the time is, you can deliver. And on this note, I would want to thank our speakers. Bryce, he's been my instructor in several meetings in the AFRINIC programs, and Sarah, a friend, I've met her in several workshops. I'm glad that you made it. Lily, our very own, being so in the community. Adam, Senegal, ISOC president in Senegal. I'm happy that Africa, we're trying to connect again. And I think this should be a learning curve that let's try to connect. In as much as we have different social culture background, let's try to build Africa, because we are one. When we're able to build and make Africa strong, that is when we can make that impact. Because a time is going to come, we have to take over the world from Africa. And I know we have very, very intelligent and very powerful people from Africa. So I believe the time is now. Let's impact our generation so that our next generation is going to take over the world when it comes to technology. So at this point, I want to thank everyone for making it for this insightful webinar. And I believe this is not going to end here. Let's try to transcend the knowledge we've gained here to our colleagues who couldn't make it, so that we can impact them and make a change, because the future belongs to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. It's been great, and thanks to everyone, especially our speakers, Bryce, Sarah, and Lily, and to all contributors. Thanks a lot. Thanks to the organizer, Yusuf and his team. Thanks to everybody. Thanks, Mr. President, for chairing the meeting for us. Let's take the knowledge back to our various communities, our various chapters, and then let's all do our homework. Thank you very much. God bless.
Okay, Mr. Moderator, let's not go with the photograph. So if you can
so yes, so we can turn our videos on, each and every one of us. At least that would help.
Okay.
So
on your count,
we're going with the count of 9. 9, 8,
8,
7,
7,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2 3/4, 2 1/2, 2 1/4, and 1. So I think these are the numbers that are ready for photographs.
All right, sure.
Okay.
Done. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So we can all say cassava, smile, and have your good photographs taken.
Cassava.
Okay. That was a good one. Okay, I'm done.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, you speakers. Thank organizers and everyone. Thank you. See you some other time.